We interviewed John Sanders, who was raised in Texas and later graduated from the University of Texas in 1956. He was a teacher for many years and was later drafted. He performed his basic training in Fort Carson, Colorado, and was sent to the Crypto Repair School in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey. In the fall of 1958, he was sent to Karlsruhe, Germany. After being discharged from the Army, he began teaching in Germany. All of these following events took place during the Cold War. He met his wife while teaching in Germany and later got married in Denmark. In 1961, he returned to Oregon and began teaching in Lake Oswego.
Life is a test. I've been through the worst, but I still give my best. God made my mold different from the rest. Then he broke that mold, so I know
I got drafted in 1957. They put us in a room. I'll never forget this. They took the first three people, Adams, Ammenhauser, and Bush. You guys are going to Korea. The rest of you are going to Germany and France. And they sent me first to Fort Carson, Colorado for basic training. And after that, I went to Fort Monmouth, New Jersey, where they put me in what's called a crypto repair school. Now, crypto in those days meant cryptology or code machines. And it was my job to repair the code machines. I went to that school in Fort Monmouth, New Jersey for a full year.
Cryptology is the study of codes and the art of writing and solving them.
And they sent troops from Germany to Lebanon, and they needed people to backfill the ones that they had sent to Germany, from Germany, to take their places. And so they took the top third of the next three classes that were to graduate and said, you are now crypto repairmen, go stand by.
In order to repair and maintain the thousands upon thousands of crypto machines produced over the decades, it required the services of dedicated groups of technicians and maintainers. Acquiring the necessary skills to qualify as a crypto machine technician was no easy feat.
I was trained in what was considered the most elite school that they had in the Army, in this crypto repair school. I had to have the super top clearance because these code machines at that time were very, very top secret. And they were worked with on the theory that there were wheels that you turned and set, and those wheels were set a certain way with numbers on one side and letters on the other, and you typed into a teletype machine. It went through this code deciphering process, was sent over the teletype wires to somewhere else, and they had to have their machines set the same as yours in order to decode what you had typed on the teletype machine. And they shipped us from Fort Monmouth, New Jersey to Karlsruhe, Germany.
Cryptology is the study and implementation of techniques to hide information or to protect it from being read. The information that is protected can be written text, electronic signals such as Morse, telex, or speech, or all kinds of digital information like computer files, email messages, or data transmissions. Cryptology was used a lot during the Cold War to send messages from base to base without being interfered by the enemy.
The Cold War was a military tension between the United States and Russia. The Cold War split the temporary wartime alliance against Nazi Germany, leaving Russia and the United States as two superpowers with profound economic and political differences over totalitarian communism and capitalist democracy. It was considered cold because there was no large-scale fighting directly between the two sides, although there were major regional wars in Korea, Vietnam, and Afghanistan that the two sides supported.
The Korean War was over, and Vietnam had not yet started. So this was a relatively period of peace in the world, but we did experience what was called the Cold War, and that's when Russia and the United States were threatening to drop atom bombs on each other. And we were constantly concerned about what the Russians were doing.
The Berlin Crisis of 1961 was the last major European incident of the Cold War about the occupational status of the German capital city Berlin. The Berlin Crisis involved a controversy so bitter and so sustained that at its height, world leaders feared that a misstep could trigger a nuclear war.
The Allies decided to split Germany into 4 zones of occupation. The capital, Berlin, was also split into 4 zones. Britain, France, and America united their zones into a new country, West Germany. Stalin later cut off all rail and road links to West Berlin, which is known as the Berlin Crisis.
And I remember at one point the Russians blockaded Berlin's trains going in and out of Berlin. And we thought that, okay, this is it. I was in a movie theater on base. They stopped the movie, turned on the lights, made an announcement that the Russians have blockaded Berlin with the trains. Go to your barracks and stand by. Well, at that time I thought, this is it, we're going to war. But later, the next day it all worked itself out and nothing happened.
So how has this affected you to this day?
Oh, I think it's enriched my life tremendously to live in another culture for 3 years. 3 years, 1, 2, 3 years, 4 years, I guess. 2 years teaching and 2 years in the Army. So it was I loved it.
Through this interview, we learned about cryptology and how not all soldiers are directly involved in violence. We also learned that not all soldiers are negatively impacted by war. John Sanders showed us that many of his fondest memories in life were created during the time he lived in Germany. We enhanced our knowledge on the Cold War through the personal stories of John Sanders. There are many things we studied this year, such as the Cold War and the Berlin Crisis, that we now understand more about.